how you guys doing today?
Hi.
Can you believe it is week 5 already?
It's crazy.
I don't know where August went. I'm just like, blink and it's gone.
It is gone.
It is already gone. It is actually September at this point.
It is.
So,
It's been hard to write September 1st.
yeah. I don't know. I think it needs to stay at August,
Right.
evidently.
You can make a 9 and 8 easily, but you can't make an 8 a 9 easily.
Not so much.
I tried.
Have you now?
Maybe more than once today. Yeah.
I could have never guessed.
So how are you guys all doing? Is everybody having a load of fun? Look at there are 8 people watching.
Hey, we're getting there.
9.
Keep going. Oh,
Yep.
We're up to 9. Okay,
Yeah,
keep going. Keep going.
In case you missed the first couple of minutes, it's week 5 already. 5. It is the final week. It's the reveal week, right?
It is the reveal
big
week.
mystery is no longer
And
a
I
mystery.
would just like to say,
Lisa
I finished
won.
before her.
She did.
I totally won.
She won the rat race.
I totally did, though I kind of cheated because I pre-quilted. So
It's not cheating.
It's not. It's just
No.
a different way.
It isn't cheating. It's actually a very convenient and much more efficient way.
It is definitely much more efficient.
doing this.
You know, we were talking, you've got all the new patterns. If you happen to be a Luminaire or Solaris owner out there, we've got some new patterns now with that
Hi,
new
Ann.
upgrade. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Lisa's mom.
Yeah, you guys probably be like, she's saying hi to her mom. Like, you know, someone actually famous on TV. Hi, Mom. It's actually my mom is here. So I'm not just, you know, thinking too much of myself or anything like that. But, you know, it's really cool. There's a lot of really neat stuff in there. And it's really interesting because, you know, I've done the store samples for the Make Yourself at Home and the Vintage Boardwalk. And those I did not pre-quilt. Those I did the way that you're doing it. So literally tracing around and then adding those quilting. When you pre-quilt, it literally quilts kind of like you're quote unquote supposed to. It starts in the middle and works its way to the outer edges of the fabric.
It's a much more efficient
It
way.
is much more efficient because there might be a couple little pieces on the edges that stitch just a tiny line or something, but for the most part, it's all one stitch. So the needle's not cutting and moving and cutting and moving. And when you trace around a design with that fill stitch, it is doing exactly that. It is starting and then stopping and moving and starting and stopping and moving. And so that alone takes a lot more time just from the machine time actually sitting down in the stitching.
Right.
Not to mention a lot more knots on the back. So unfortunately, you can't see that anymore because I've covered it all up.
Yeah,
So
I spent a lot of time trimming my threads yesterday. I was like, oh, it can't be that messy.
well, okay, just on that note, do not flip over the floor samples of the other ones because I didn't get through all of those.
Holly says, did you get all of the thread colors for the thread kit yet? I think, are we still missing some?
I wasn't aware we were. I thought we had them all filled. So I apologize, Holly. Let us know what you need, and we'll see what we can do for you.
I put mine in the drawer.
Oh, I still have a store phone. I'm like, what is that noise? Yes, in a drawer. It goes away. Bye-bye. Okay, all done. So sorry.
It's like it never happened.
Like it never happened is right. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It is definitely less time-consuming doing that pre, but you then have more planning things down the line. So how do you get everything to sew together well, and how do you manage maybe different thicknesses from areas that you quilted with embroidery, but then you have this sewing section that you go, now what? So,
and how to quilt the non-pre-quilted pieces, because you still have to have something holding the 3 layers together. You have to get a little bit more creative. You have to be creative in a different way.
So I actually used the sewing side of my machine quite a bit. More than I anticipated.
I'm so proud of you.
More than I anticipated. I may go back and add embroidery just to give it a little bit more depth and pop here and there. But I got a real kick out of you ladies that were here Monday morning and literally were outside betting how late I had stayed up the night before to finish it. Thank you for that. I'm not sure who won, but that was adorable that you guys were actually out there talking about it. That's really funny. But I don't want to say cut corners, but I didn't necessarily embellish as much as I would have if I didn't have a deadline. I would have probably added a little bit extra here and there. But it was kind of It was 1:00 in the morning and I was done.
Yeah, it's amazing. Even when you aren't like enthralled with the quilting part, just how long it takes. Like I always think, oh, it'll take me 30 minutes to this binding and I'm really quick, and then it's an hour and a half. And you're like,
I think I told you that. Jeff called my husband and said, how long are you going to be up there? I'm like, well, hopefully about another half an hour. He was like, hopefully. I'm like, well, I got to finish this binding. It was an hour and a half. So, you know. But
it's like a time suck a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
I do say so.
Yeah, your binding looks fantastic.
I'm so excited. Well, thank you for that because you're the one that taught me how to do it. So, lots of fun, and I did finish. I pretty much followed the directions as I have throughout, so that my sample was going to look as much as possible like what it would if you followed all of the directions. I did very, very little altering of that, if you will. So the red polka dot border is there. I did change the back, but technically
you can't see the back.
You can't see the back.
And the back didn't come with the kit.
The back did not. So I chose the smaller red polka dots for my backing. I know you chose.
I did. You
chose the teal pretty doodles.
Yeah, doodles.
I probably would have selected something different for the front, for the big border. You really can't see my edging stitching much. The polka dots overwhelm it.
Yeah.
So I could have chosen a different color and it would have shown, but I used the new border function because I just had to try it.
I know.
I just had to try.
It's hard not to try.
So, so for this week's instructions, you only have one more block that you're actually going to be embroidering. We showed you guys that in that sneak peek last week. But this is going to be the final block. As you can see, we do have the pretty blue leather that was in your embellishment kit. For those of you who have absolutely loved sewing with this leather, you do have to remember that tack down stitch is going to show when you're done. So make sure that whatever you're using is the color that you want to see. And then, of course, you probably will see just a little bit of white edging around the outside. That's completely normal, and both of ours look like that too, so it's all good. And then that will be trimmed down to the 4.5 by 4.5. So
I think the edging part grew on me as the quilt went along, because the first one I didn't like.
You didn't like it at all.
Those hearts,
and then you tried doing something funky, and that didn't work. So
no.
I look at it like this: if I scrapbook and I put a picture in, I'm going to mat that picture.
Yeah.
That's your mat.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
See, there you go.
Yep.
It is just the edging that gives that some pop and really makes it show off.
And if you're really, really obsessive about that, there is a reason that Sharpie makes a whole lot of colors. You could just run a Sharpie around the edge of that and blend that in and no one would even know. So if you are type A and you just
can't
handle it. I wasn't sure where I was going to fall on that spectrum, but I think I can handle it. I'm not going to.
It's growing on you a little bit.
It is growing on me. Yes.
I would screw up more with the Sharpie than the white.
That's possible.
That would be me.
It probably will wipe off the leather pretty easily.
Probably.
Right.
But I don't want to find out.
Away. Yeah. We're not going to
test that on your scraps first. So that is all that you will have for your embroidery itself. After that, you're going to start actually piecing everything together if you hadn't already. So you have the black with white polka dot that you're going to use as your sashing.
Yes.
And then the outside small border. So once you get the rose put together with the black in between, then you'll add that to the outsides as well.
So I would just like to give a quick little tip about doing the rose and the sashing. One of the things that I used to struggle with a lot when I was putting stuff together is I would stretch something to fit. So, and we have a lot of little pieces in some of our rows, so there's a lot more seams. So once I have my row sewn together, what I like to do is baste across the top and the bottom, because then my block is actually the size that it is. And then when I go to put my sashing pieces on top of that, I'm not pulling them to try to stretch them to be the size that they'll need to be. That will help you a lot along these
to hold something for you.
Pieces, like that top row, because you have so many seams there. I see people, they pull on them a little bit because they think they really need to get it to be the size that it needs to be. And that will help you. Some people don't pull at all, but I know some people
go, it's all so close, let's just,
yes. Yeah,
we'll make it fit.
Make it fit, yeah. But this will help so that those pieces, they do not distort. And then when you're lining up your pieces, it'll look a lot more, they'll look like they're all the same size, and you won't have little bunny ears coming out on the corner.
So I had a really good point. Oh, yes, I remember. Because I've screwed up something every week, of course I had to continue with that. So my borders I cut, and I actually gave myself what I thought was a little extra. Not my borders, my sashing, excuse me. I keep saying that. I'm so sorry, guys. And when I did that cute little letter stitch, it made it shrink a little bit. And so I had a piece that, even with adding a little extra, didn't fit. And I ended up tossing that one. So I have a really cute black border sash piece that I can add to something. I'm not really sure what.
A cute like strap for a bag.
Well, I was thinking maybe I could just take one of these and make something out of a pillow or something with that in there, and just take one square. And I haven't decided which one's my favorite yet.
I bet it's not going to be the X's and O's though.
With the machine, I can't tell you. I mean, I have a kind of crappy sewing machine, my first one, we all have one of those, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately I did buy it here. It's really not that crappy, just comparative to what I'm sewing on now. And sometimes I will go to it when I am embroidering something and I have, that 20-minute stitch out of something, and I'm like, gotta be doing something. So I'll switch machines and go over and do that. There is such a difference in sewing on a machine that's intended for doing that kind of thing. And it's so much more of a joy. So if you are getting frustrated, it's possible it might be the machine that you're using and not the actual technique itself, because they really weren't that bad.
No, they weren't
They really weren't.
But I know a lot of people really didn't enjoy that
They didn't. Then I think that's it was definitely my least favorite part. But having a good ruler that doesn't slide when I'm cutting, so I actually have the right size pieces, and a machine that actually sews a straight line, because it's the machine's job to do that, right? Not mine. It really makes a difference.
It
does. If you guys haven't already checked out the Quilter Select rulers, when you are cutting for those, they're all different shapes and sizes, but they have this really great grip on the back. You can literally push your fabric around on the mat with the ruler. It doesn't move. I mean, you have to work really hard to get that to move, and you can get a much more accurate cut. And I don't want to say I didn't realize that. I mean, I kind of knew it, but I didn't realize how much having a good ruler versus just a ruler would make. And it really does make a difference. So.
Yeah. So would you like to hear my funny story about my ruler this weekend? It's kind of funny. If you guys know me, you'll know just how funny this is. So I like to have, I like a certain brand of ruler, and I've had one for a very long time. And I cut a piece and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, it's not straight at all. And I'm checking the bottom to make sure that I'm lined up, and I cut a second one and it's still not straight. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? So at the spot where it's not straight, the ruler is grooved. So
no kidding.
It's actually worn out in that little spot. So I really was cutting next to the ruler, but the ruler
bowed when you got
out there. So that's just a little, I guess I never really realized that the ruler could kind of wear out. So if you are, another reason, if you might be struggling with something and you're thinking,
look at your ruler, evidently you need to do that.
Check the edge of your ruler and see if it is. I'm not going to actually blame it on my husband, but he has cut a few things that maybe are not fabric related, and I watch him with that rotary cutter, and he's applying so much downward pressure on it that I'm wondering if he's going to cut through the mat. So I'm wondering if maybe he nicked it, and then I just kept cutting over top of the same spot.
And nicks are really easy to get, and you can't get rid of them. The only fix for that is to replace your blade. So we talk all the time about replacing needles. When's the last time you ladies replaced your rotary cutter blade? If you don't know the answer to that question, you probably need to come see us and get another blade. It is like butter versus beef. I don't know. I mean, it's really smooth, and it's just cuts versus struggling and forcing that to go, like cutting a steak. See?
Exactly.
I wasn't that far off.
If you have to cut twice along your row of fabric,
because somewhere it didn't catch, you probably have a nick in your blade.
Your blade is too dull for either the quantity of fabric that you have underneath there or the amount of pressure that you apply on there. But you should definitely be able to get it in one fell swoop. So if you have to keep going over top of it.
It's funny the things that you can learn from working in a sewing shop.
Yeah, it's funny,
just
isn't
crazy
it?
out there.
But check the edges of your rulers.
Yes, that is a good tip.
I was very surprised. I was like, well, I'll be. I said a couple of other words, but
I imagine you did, kind of like your mask, I would bet.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Maybe something like that.
So next time you ladies are in, ask to see Sarah's secret mask.
My secret mask.
She can't wear it at work.
That's not appropriate to wear on the floor.
Yeah. So you can ask her about that.
But it is funny. All right.
A little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
So yes. So sashing, and the embroidered block. So once you have all of that in there, we're going to add the red polka dot border. And it is polka dot. So sometimes it's hard to sew with big polka dots because your eyes kind of start seeing things. So, just be really careful as you're doing that. Make sure that you are following the directions. There's no piecing for any of the borders unless you've totally screwed up your cuts. There's no piecing. Literally each section will fit from side to side. So you don't have to worry about that, which is really nice because that's always a pain.
Yes.
So it's really nice that this is the size that literally you can just do all of that. And if I remember right, both of them, you're going to do the sides first and then the top and then in the bottom.
Absolutely.
So when you are cutting, make sure that you do that.
It's a little bit weird with the sashing because you're doing the other pieces and you've kind of put the black in there in between.
And you're like, but I thought I was going to do this.
You got to stop and not put it on the top and the bottom and do the two side pieces first.
Yep.
So pay a little bit of attention to that. Mm-hmm.
But again, if you screwed that up, nobody will probably see because it's black fabric. So, don't stress over that. And you do still have at least one extra sashing piece left because I did that.
Yep.
And didn't run out of any fabric. So, this has been a lot of fun. And that's outside of the quilting the individuals. That's pretty much where you're at right now. So you've got all of your borders on and you're doing the quilting now.
I am.
For all of that.
Yeah,
so.
I did mine the old-fashioned way. I even have mine pin-basted. So I've taken some of the pins out, but you guys can see I've still got my pins.
I will, Vanna.
Thanks. So I still got my pins and my sashing and along my border. So I use these little itty-bitty brass pins so they don't leave super big holes in there. So I have my top row and my second row completed.
I can tell that, and she's got two on the bottom.
Yes, and I'm missing. I haven't done the typewriters and or the mailboxes, and so
I felt like my paper was very abused by the time I was done because I kept having to flip it and tape it, and I'm like, is this ever going to stay where I want it to? At this point?
Did, yes.
Because I was manhandling it a lot, so
yeah,
that's normal too.
It does, yeah, absolutely. Lisa, like she said, she pre-quilted her background pieces, so she's not having to quilt around the little pieces in here.
Does that help a little bit better? I can't see what I'm doing here.
I think so. Yep, that looks good.
So you can see
the bubbles are kind of coming up to the edge of the little cameras and around, and then on the words. So
you can actually see it pretty well on the back, if that helps at all. So you can see in the center there is where that camera is that she didn't stitch through. So on mine, if you could see through the back still, it would have stitching all the way across because I pre-quilted them.
Absolutely.
But because of that, I didn't have to do it this way. I started, I think I'd talked to you guys probably at some point, maybe, I don't know. I started thinking, well, I'm going to stitch in the ditch. And it was like 11:30 or something, I don't remember. And I said, yeah, I don't have time for that. So I ended up just using a tack, which in this instance, it actually worked pretty well.
And so explain what the tack is. They may not know that that's
so,
the buttonhole.
The buttonhole, not the buttonhole, it's the button attachment stitch. So what you would use your white plastic M foot for. And it literally just does a zigzag stitch that's 3.5 millimeters in length without moving forward. So it literally just goes zink, 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 ties itself off, and then you can move to some other spot. So I can pretty much guarantee you can't see that on the quilt through the camera. But whenever you guys stop in to pick up your finals, I'm happy to show you what that is. So basically, I just did.
They can see it on the back at all?
Well, you can see the knot.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at. So let's see.
Oh, here you go.
There's one right here.
Yeah.
So, there's just these little knots basically that are attaching that down.
Yeah.
And that is all I ended up doing with the exception of the one stitch line that I said, yeah, no. So, again, it's the back, so For a wall hanging, I'm not really concerned. If I do have some invisible thread that I may go back when I have some more time, and it's not the middle of the night, to go back and stitch that down just so that it lays nice and smooth and it hangs nicely, because you of course don't want unstraight lines as it's hanging, because some fabric is starting to pull down or whatnot in that. So
let's flip yours around so that I don't have my embellishments on, but Lisa's got all of her embellishments on. So can you see? You
can see my beautiful children. And again, at 1 o'clock in the morning, those are the only pictures that I could find.
Right.
So you are going to be cutting that felt, which is the red piece. I don't think that the sewers have even used the red piece before now. There's just the one. Is that correct? And so in your week 5 instructions, there is a square that has hearts drawn in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to put a piece of paper. I actually ended up using a random piece of cutaway stabilizer that I had left over from a block of something. I don't even know what the heck I was doing. But I had it. It was there. So I used that and I traced the hearts onto that right through the cutaway. And then you're going to pin that to the red felt and just cut on the lines. So you have one large heart that's going to come, and it's supposed to. You can, of course, put it anywhere that you would like. And then I don't know if you guys can see real well. There's a bunch of smaller hearts. So we talked about this, the mason jar is kind of dumping into the envelope.
And they're 3-dimensional.
And they are 3-dimensional. So in the directions, it has you just sewing from top to bottom of the 2 points, which is all I did. I did not get creative. Again, I did follow the picture that's there. So you could certainly do whatever you wanted from that perspective. So this is, again, the twine that is in with the flowers, and I use that button tack again to tack each of those. I did it twice just to make sure, because we are going to have some weight. Granted, not a ton, but a little bit. You want to make sure that it's going to stay where you've put it. So I did a double button tack on both of the bows to keep those in place. And then the final is the beautiful 3D flowers, which are my so very favorite thing to do.
So they're right.
So there is a teal, sorry, I know it's kind of big. There's a teal, a red, and a white. They're all a little bit different shapes. They certainly look beautiful.
Get a little closer on the little 3D flowers so
they can
see.
They look absolutely beautiful, and you can see how they are overlapping the edge of that square, which is why you do not want to stitch them on before you're done quilting, because they're going to get in the way.
Yep.
So,
so those embellishments definitely go on last.
Yep. So, the whole thing was so much fun. Those pull flowers are beautiful. I can't say that they're actually my favorite thing to do, because I can't seem to tie a knot on the end of that and have it go where I want it to. It ends up somewhere farther down the string, and then my flower undoes that point. So, again, I tacked those with the button tack stitch, but they are so cute. I do love the way they look. I just don't necessarily enjoy the tack down process, because I, for whatever reason I don't know the answer to, cannot tie that knot where it needs to go. Somebody showed me in class. They were like, here, you do it like this. And they had the pin, and they would just went, whoop, and I went, okay, I can do that. Mine didn't whoop. There was no whooping. It just stayed where it wanted to. I was like, never mind. Here, can you do mine for me?
Yeah.
And bless her heart, she did. But they are so beautiful. I love the way they look. I just tend to take them to the sewing machine all wadded up and tack them down before they can pop apart on me, because I can't handle.
Yes, the binding is included in the kit. For the chick who hasn't opened her kit yet, who will not
fantastic.
be named.
So just for visualization, your sashing and your inner border is this black polka dot. It's one of the larger pieces, obviously, that's going to be at the bottom. And then your outer is going to be the large red polka dot. And then you did receive this black plaid, and you're going to cut
and those 3 pieces were kind of folded separate and away from the rest of my kit. I know we did have someone who used the black polka dot for the wrong thing. You might still have enough black, and you may not.
There was a little extra, so depending on where you used it, yes, you certainly might. Maybe for those little guys, those are pretty small, so probably be okay. But I'm sure you're shocked we sell that stuff here. So if you need it, we can help you out.
She's right. We have a little bit of Kimberbell fabric.
Maybe just a little bit.
We try hard to keep that in stock, because it's been super popular for us.
We do have more coming.
We do.
I don't remember which ones off the top of my head, but we do have more coming.
We did order quite a bit of fabric the last time with our fabric rep, who was a little slow.
Yeah, it was really cute. So I called her about some other order, and she was like, "Oh, I'm headed to my 10 o'clock meeting." And I looked down, and it was 10:15. I was like, "Oh, okay. You probably got to go. you probably have something else you should be doing right now." So,
yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, but
that is the gist of the finishing process. There's really not a whole lot of embroidery really being done. If you are quilting in the hoop with your embroidery machine, Kimberbell does have some new designs out there that will enable you. However, they are filling the hoop, so
yes.
That's not going to help you a whole lot.
14 sizes.
There's a whole bunch of sizes.
There's a bunch of
there was 6 or 7 patterns, something somewhere in that range, and then tons of different sizes of each pattern.
Yeah.
So
I think there's probably a size for just about every style of hoop out there. So yeah,
because we are aware you're not all brother and baby lock people, and that's okay. You know, it's we try to make sure that we have answers for everybody's questions, not just a baby lock or a brother thing there too. So there's certainly lots of options out there.
I don't know why I waited so long to get one of these fancy machines though. As I was quilting yesterday, I was thinking to myself, I'm not really sure why I was so undecided about changing
there is
bees.
It is such a joy to sew on that machine. I was just like, it makes everything so much more fun. I'm not sure whether my husband enjoys it or not, but I almost never see him anymore because I'm, anytime I'm at home and I have a chunk of time, I'm hiding in my room. So lots of fun, and all of the new things that they have on it are just make it even better.
Right.
And it's so much fun. So
not that we're trying to.
No, I'm sorry if that's how you took it. We're just really enjoying the process.
So, and remember, we're that kind of friend. So Lisa and I we both really, really enjoy the Design Center features or the IQ designer for our baby lock customers that feature on those machines.
Or what do you call it? You just blend the two together.
IQ designer.
Yeah, that's not the name of it.
No, but it sounds better, doesn't it?
Sure, we'll go with that. So they didn't ask you, did they?
No.
Imagine that. So that is really
I'm the only Sarah, they should.
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that. So Kimberbell, that is really kind of. I don't know that I have a whole lot more to offer you on tips and tricks and different things. Of course, we are more than happy to take any phone calls. If y'all have questions, just give us a buzz, and we will absolutely do our best to help you out over the phone or come on in, whatever one you would prefer. So what are we going to do now?
We're going to keep doing these on Tuesdays.
Yes, we are going to keep doing this. Somebody said they actually like watching us. I'm not really sure if y'all are mental or if we are, but...
We've been told we are a little bit
maybe a little entertaining.
Yes.
I don't see it. Do you see it?
No, I did. Someone told me we giggled too much, though.
So what do we do but laugh?
Right.
So Kimberbell, we are going to keep doing this. It will not necessarily be Kimberbell.
No.
It could be a tip or trick on a machine. It could be some new fabrics that we got in and we'll show you what's going on. Maybe a special that we're going to offer just that week in store. There could be all kinds of different things, but we will continue to do the 3:30 on Tuesdays for Facebook Live. We're still working on the title for that. So
someone said news from Leabu's, which
news from Leabu's was pretty good.
Really good.
And we'll get there, Teresa, 2 seconds. So if you guys have some idea of what we should call our Tuesday live, see, you guys can't read all of the comments as they're coming in, so it's not fair to say that we laugh too much because it's your guys' fault anyway.
That's right.
But we'll figure it out. If you guys have a name suggestion, please feel free to send it in. Don't get mad if we don't choose it, but, we'd love something ideas.
Cute that rhymes with Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday, I don't know.
Tuesday's tips from Leabu.
That doesn't rhyme, but that's okay. We'll come up with something, and it'll be something everybody will know about because it'll be so awesome. So,
Leabu's clues.
I like it.
It could be Clueless Tuesday.
It might sometimes be Clueless Tuesdays. You just never know. I did not go blonde, so she kind of did. But what was that?
I said that would be better than Topless Tuesday.
I'm not going to comment on that. We'll just push her out of the screen for a minute. So what are we going to do next? So we have been getting asked over and over, when are you guys going to start classes again? And what are you going to do? And so on and so forth. Unfortunately, at this time, I don't have anywhere in the shop that we can do an in-store class. I could seat maybe 2 of you, which unfortunately is just not enough to actually do that. So the guys are actually getting somewhere. We are getting to a reasonable time frame, which means that room over there is getting empty of machines, and that's going to be the classroom. So until that happens, we will only be doing virtual. However, I do have, hopefully in 2 weeks, I think something like that, we are going to do a virtual Kimberbell class, not a workshop, not an event, but a class. So kind of like the embroidery clubs that we've had in the past. I had the dealer exclusives that I was using for this past year, and we kind of got cut off, so we didn't finish all of them that we planned. So for those of you who have been looking for this cute little rain boot, we are going to do this coming up. So I think what we're looking at is probably a Wednesday at 5 o'clock or whatever, Saturday at 3 o'clock. So basically when the store closes, and that will enable me to actually be in front of a computer screen, phone, whatever, with the machine in front of me so I can answer questions and whatnot, and be dedicated directly to you ladies and gentlemen, if there's any out there, rather than, okay, I'll be back in an hour and we'll see how you're doing kind of thing. That will enable us to literally pay 100% attention to you guys while we're doing the class.
And there won't be anybody streaming videos of golf while you're trying to do your live presentation to get booted off. It wasn't me, in case anybody is curious.
It was not. You guys can just take a stab in the dark on who that might have been. Fortunately, he doesn't watch these, so we can say whatever we want.
What happens at Leabu's Facebook page stays there.
Except that we post it, so maybe it doesn't. Did you drink before we started this today?
Maybe.
Okay, what was that?
I wondered what you were teasing us flashing in your right hand.
That is my right hand.
Yeah.
Look at that. So this is a dealer exclusive. There are other Sweet Feet out there. So some of you may have seen them. A long time ago we did the, what was it? It was a tennis shoe or something like that. I can't remember now. It's been way too long. Long time ago when I first started doing the Kimberbell workshops, we did a Sweet Feet that you could only get at that. So they are using these sweet tubes. So those come in 3 different sizes, and they are just super cute. You can actually set that down, and my hand's not a very flat surface, but you can kind of see it staying there. So you can use them as, place settings if you're doing some sort of a kids party or something, or they make really, really cute little giveaways. Not that I recommend stitching these for Halloween for everybody that comes to your house. I could probably do it because I think I get maybe 2 or 3 at the most. Some years we don't get any.
That's probably 2 more than I get.
Probably.
I
will agree. I mean, I used to live in the sardine can subdivision where you had hundreds. There was no way I would be able to sew enough for those. Yeah. But they're very, very cute. I do think that I'm like 99% sure there will be different fabrics, so it won't look exactly like this, but the design is the same. So how we have planned to do that, we are going to charge $25 for the class. That includes your kit and the class fee.
For all design.
And the design, yes, of course. I'm sorry, I just included that in the kit.
Yes.
But yes, all of the things that you would need to complete that would be in there, and except for threads. Threads are on your own, just like normal, because I know what normal is. Mm-hmm. But anyway, if you have club cards, so we have not been able to have any club classes for months and months now, and we have gotten many questions as, how am I going to use this? When can I, actually use this investment that I put in? So if you have a club card and you would like to use that towards that, we are going to punch your card for a $15 credit. That basically means with a punch, it's only $10. So nice and simple. You will be required to come in, get the design, and pick up your kit prior to class.
And then we can punch your card.
And we will punch your card when you come in to do that.
Right.
So it is going to be a prepay versus a at the time of, because y'all won't be here. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the concessions, I guess, that we've had to do. So will every class that we do be that price? No, but we will continue to try and do that $15 credit with a punch of a card for any of the virtual classes as they are going through. That total will be based on how much is going to be in the kit. Because of course different projects entail many different amounts of stuff. So can't promise that it will always be that $25 then less, but it's going to be, probably within a $10 range of that. I would think for the most part. So that you should be seeing an email coming out soon. I've just got to figure out the fabrics that I am going to use and then get those kits cut.
And make sure we give you guys enough time to get your kits.
So,
that's why
there has to be some, there's not enough time. So unfortunately, so again, I am looking at a Wednesday at 5:00 or a Saturday at 3:00, which again is closing time. So maybe at some point we can do kind of a hybrid, and some people can be here if they want, and some people can be at home if they want. But as of right now, we have to keep it simple and stupid because it's just too hard for us to do it any other way. There's just so much going on. So hopefully by October, they're not listening. We can maybe have some stuff here, which will still probably be at least at first at closing time because, we're only allowed to have so many people in store. So something to think about and keep your eyes peeled for your emails.
Numbers have been trending down, so hopefully they might be opening the movie theaters again.
Oh, God, I'm dying to go to the movies. Caitlin and I, my daughter, we were literally just talking about that last night, and we were like, I just want the popcorn and I don't care what movie it is. I just want the junk food.
Right.
But
so hopefully soon.
Hopefully very soon. So I guess we will have to play everything by ear, which is unfortunately how everything has been lately. But we are hoping to at least get you guys going on some virtual classes here within the next couple of weeks. So. And
you also have possibly a scan and cut thing.
I actually do. I had that all prepped, basically ready. The instructions were not completed. But that was the only thing I have left. I have all the kits cut and everything to do a scan and cut class that will be using applique fabric. My plan at the time, of course, y'all would have been here. It would have been a little bit easier, but I will figure out how to make that work, is to literally show you how you can take a design in a Brother or Baby Lock embroidery machine, tell it that it's an applique file, export it out of there into the scan and cut, and then cut it and then go back. A lot of you guys evidently don't know how to do that. So I think that's a really great thing to show you. It's a really nice feature that's available, and literally I haven't seen one in a long time that won't work for that. So there's literally tons of machines that have the capabilities of doing that. Depending on what scan and cut you have, your machine may or may not be able to pull out that applique file on its own, but there's many of you guys out there that don't have the newest, latest, and greatest. So we're not forgetting the little guy. Don't worry about that. We're going to make sure you guys know how to do that too. So within the next couple of weeks after that, we will have that one as well. So
I'm definitely a slacker in this virtual class thing. I haven't quite figured out how to make a sewing project.
It's hard.
And it's a serger project. I get so many people that are not sewing on just a Brother or a Baby Lock machine. And it
so to say, push this button to get this stitch or whatever is not a viable option.
Right.
With that, where at least with an embroidery or scan and cut, it is what it is. So there's not variation, if you will, from that.
I feel like so many people that normally come to those classes there's so many different brands of machines in those that I'm struggling to come up with a workaround that will work for multiple types of machines. So if you're wondering why I don't have anything,
slacker.
That is exactly that's why I'm just trying to. It's hard. We've never done virtual stuff, so this is all new for us.
The other option with sewing that we've kind of talked about a little bit is to maybe just do informational, so not a project base, but let's talk about the different feet and how they are applied and how you can use those, which again, unfortunately, is geared towards the machines that we sell, but there's only so much we can do here, ladies. I mean, there's a point where we can't keep pushing, but that's also something that I think would be really nice as you guys are sitting at home and trying to figure different projects out, knowing what is available out there that, oh my God, there's a foot that can do that for me. And we go, we get that all the time. People don't realize how many different feet are out there and able to use and make their lives so much easier. Like a darn zipper foot.
Right.
I hate a zipper foot. Do you hate zipper feet?
I like the narrow zipper foot.
That one's not bad, but the one that comes in your machines, in every one of your machines, is just not our favorite. So, we both have, this is what I use for this, and this is what I use for that, and those kinds of things that you can take our experience and make your life easier for is what I think would be really awesome. So, there will be, Gene is literally dragging his heels in the dirt, but there will be some computer classes coming up. I told him if he won't do it, I will. So there'll be some things that, not necessarily a just random thing. It might be on a specific topic or something like that. So we're not talking a 3 or 4 hour class, anything like that, but let's learn how to do this and the basics. So we have a lot of plans in the works. And because of that, it makes it a lot harder to actually pin one down and just say, okay, we're going to focus on
Execute.
one. Right. There's just so many other things that we've got going on. And we get excited and get distracted too. So, the cute tweezers that came in distracted me for a long time. I was like, I got to have these. These are so cute. It doesn't take a whole lot, unfortunately, but there's so many fun things that we love to share them with all of you. So.
All right.
You got anything else?
I do not have anything else.
I don't either. So
I would just like to say this has been really fun. This is like the first project that you and I have kind of
done together because usually I do one type and you do one, and So I'm just really, really glad to say I won.
She did.
She totally beat her butt. Mine is done and hers is not. No, I'm just kidding.
This is true.
We did it very different ways.
We did.
And so it's. I still think it's funny they were standing outside betting on what time I finished it. That just cracks me up. But it has been an absolute joy. And it's fun to see how you do things and how I would approach it or whatnot. And there's not necessarily a right or a wrong. There's so many different ways to skin a cat in this crafting and this type of hobby. There's just tons of different ways.
Yeah.
And that's why we would love to see your quilt tops. And again, a quilt top is just to the red polka dot borders. You do not have to have it backed and bound and all quilted or anything to use that completion coupon.
Which we sent in case.
Which is there if you guys missed that part. I thought we said it at the beginning.
I don't know.
Maybe we just talked about it off camera. I don't know.
Possible.
But check your email box. You should have that coupon in there. And
hot off the press.
It is literally hot off the press. It took us how many hours to actually type that up?
Until 2:30.
Yeah, unfortunately, but you do have it in your inbox. So if you are for some reason not receiving that, please let us know.
Yep.
I think last week we said you had to print it. We made it really pretty, so there's a lot of color in it. So we don't necessarily have to have you print that. You can just show it to us on your phone that you have the coupon, you're aware, and bring us the top and let us see what you did, because we all are individuals and we all make different choices as to how we're going to quilt something or what design we're going to put here or what color thread that we used. And that is why, even though this is all, we're doing the exact same project, all of ours is going to look a little bit different, and which is what makes it really, really cool.
Yep.
So we can't wait
to see
what you guys do. We love it when you bring us stuff and do the share thing. It's a lot of fun, and it kind of I don't want to say validates, but it's just great to see you guys out there doing things and that you're sharing with us what's going on. So
that's one of the things I miss most about having a class is, people would bring in
stuff
something from the previous class or stuff that they've been working on, and we could actually see it. And we don't get we don't get to see a lot of in progress or finished progress.
No, so we absolutely love it when you guys bring stuff in and let us take a peek at what you've been doing. So please do that. Your coupon is good all the way through the end of September. So you literally have 30 days to finish that. So get on it, Sarah.
Absolutely.
You slacker.
I'm slacker.
And bring it in. And there's a really nice coupon for you guys to get your stash ready for whatever your next project's going to be.
Okay.
So.
Well,
all right.
It was great talking to everybody.
Yes,
we will be back next week, same time, Tuesday at 3:30.
Tuesday at 3:30. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we'll call it Mystery Tuesdays.
Mystery Tuesday, yeah. It'll be something fun,
It'll be something.
Sure.
And we'll make sure we giggle a lot.
That's right. Oh, you know what? We got off track. This happens. really quickly, we started talking about the Kimberbell quilting designs.
Oh, yeah.
The Kimberbell quilting designs, while we can't get you the Kimberbell quilting designs...
You're going to go to kimberbelldesigns.com.
Right.
And they're literally a download in there. I believe they're under their jump stitch designs.
Yes.
They've got some cute little one project things in there that you can download for direct. You know, I want to try something new and everything's closed or whatever. They've got some cute little things in there.
And if you don't want the Kimberbell quilting designs... from our webpage, there is a small little shopping portal that you can go to the R&K website and or the OESD website and shop through.
So there was quite a bit. If you guys didn't participate with the OESD on the 22nd,
yes,
there's quite a bit of quilting patterns that you can purchase for download or CD, depending on what they have different options for, that give you different designs that you can manipulate and put into a quilt square. So there's tons of stuff out there and available. Again, on our webpage, I kind of cut you off, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
There is a OESD page, and on that page is a link that will take you into the OESD shopping portal that actually gives us the credit of the sale because you went through our website to get there, which if you guys would do that, we would of course really appreciate that. And the R&K, which is Floriani, will also, I've got the page created. I don't have the link yet. That should be up sometime this week, and I will post it to the website as soon as possible. The really nice thing about buying off of that is that it gives you the ability to have it shipped direct to your home. So for those of you who are a couple hours away and like, I really need fill in the blank, you'll be able to do that and have it shipped directly to you.
And
which is really great.
Is supporting us as a shop because it's going through our affiliate link.
Yep. So just go to Leabu Sewing Center.com. And actually, it's not Leabu's, it's just Leabu. There's an S there, but it's the sewing.
Yes.
Not two S's, just one. LeabuSewingCenter.com, and there'll be a link to either of those pages. So.
Yep. And now I think that's it.
I think that's it this time around. Okay. So we do that every week, don't we?
I know, we do.
You guys have a good one. Thanks for participating, and have a great week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Sounds good.